What's going on, my people? Welcome back to Siete Doce. Um, so I've been getting a lot of questions about how I got into the safety industry. So I'm going to tell you my how I started and how I got there, and and maybe how you can get there if you put a plan in place and dedicate yourself. So when I first started, I actually I was overseas working in Iraq, and Uh, I was a labor foreman out there in Iraq. I did 18 months out there as with a contractor. So, I was out there for 18 months, and I would always see this person drive for breakfast and for lunch every day. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? And I asked someone, who is this guy that I only see him twice a day? And they said, that's a safety guy. I said, what, a safety guy? What do you mean safety guy? Yeah, he's the person that, he's in, make sure that we are working safe and all that. And I was like, okay, shit, but I want that job. It seems like he ain't doing shit. Coming to find out, safety is not like that. You got to work. But anyway, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to get that. I'm going to do that once I go back home to Houston. So I was like, okay, so I did that. So, I did 18 months. I went home, came home, but I didn't get into the industry. I didn't get into, I forgot about safety and all that stuff. So I started doing hot shot. I did that for 6 years. And then one day I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to get into safety. I need to find out. So I got on the University of Houston and I started researching and I found a degree and all this and I found out how much money they make. And I was like, damn, I can do this shit. So, anyway, so I did that, enrolled in school. I've already had 60 hours, credit hours from previous, uh, college that I went to. So, anyways, I did that for 18 months. Uh, while doing that, I was like, you know what? I don't have any construction experience, so I need to fucking get a job in construction, so that way I can learn. Uh, I can learn all this stuff, and when I graduate, I'm already set. They can't fool me because most of the time people that come out of college and they get into safety when they go to the field, they don't know what's going on. They're lost. So anyways, so I did that. Um so I did that, and I did 18 months. I was an electrician helper. I was learning all the craft, and I was happy. I was fortunate enough that I got in with the commissioning team, the guys building the substations and the refineries. And anyways, when they were getting their teams together to do the commissioning, I spoke to the coordinator for the pre-commissioning. He asked me, "Hey man, what do you do here?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a helper and this and that." And I'm going to school, about to graduate with a bachelor's degree in safety management. He was like, "Okay, man, that's nice." Anyways, fast forward 2 weeks, he was like, "Hey, man, I want you to be part of the pre-commissioning team. You don't have to worry about anything. Just come here, learn the craft, learn all that stuff. Don't touch anything inside the substation. But just make sure that you're learning. Get with the safety guy from Exxon. Make sure they teach. You pick their brains and things like that. So that was great for me because I was like, man, I don't now have exposure to pre-commissioning. So that was a part of that too as well. Uh, but let me tell you, in the process of that, I was going to University of Houston, and now let me tell you that it was tough because I was working 58 hours a week, waking up at 3 a.m. and then after work, I would drive to University of Houston downtown, which is like 30 minutes from where I was working. Um, but it was hard, man, because I had to stop doing hot shot. So when I stopped doing hot shot, I was practically broke. When I tell you I was broke, I was broke. Um, no money. I remember the one time that I was had to take a test, a midterm test, and I went to the parking lot, and I didn't have no money for parking, man. And this is me as a grown man, 32 years old. And I didn't have no money. It was either park and take the midterm um, or leave. So I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna park because they put a booth in my car. That's $150 that I don't have. If I don't have $4 to park, imagine $150. So anyway, I did that, and I didn't take the test. Man, that day I cried. I was like, damn, Andy. But you know what? I figured in about a year from now, when you graduate, you're gonna be smiling and laughing all the way to the bank. And so that's what happened. I graduated. It took me right about uh, 7 months to find a job. And I was looking and looking. I think I applied for over 200 jobs. I stopped counting after 200. And yeah. And so I finally got a few hits, a few calls. And I was like, man, I'm going to get a job. I think my first offer, it was with a company that from New York, out of New York, but they had to work in Texas and in Houston. And they offered me, hey, we're going to offer you $30 an hour. Um, Truck, 401k, all the whole nine. I was like, man, I thought the safety guy made more money, but I was like, fuck it, whatever. I mean, I just got to get my foot in the door, right? So, and then one day my cousin called me. He goes, hey, Andy, did you graduate already? And I was like, yeah, I graduated. And he's like, you want to come to the Virgin Islands? I was like, for real? He goes, yeah. I said, how much are they paying? They were like, 40 an hour. I'm like, $40 an hour? And 125 dollars per diem. Plus, you get a vehicle, gas card, and they'll pay for your housing too. And I was like, oh shit, man, we were working 12, 14 hours a day, doing the hurricane restoration for the island. The first check I've seen of 84 hours, I was like, holy crap. To me, that was a lot of money, and man, I was like, damn, all this really paid off, And so I did that for 6 months, working a lot of hours, man. I paid my loan, my school loan, which was like $17,000. I paid that off quick, man. And man, I've been doing safety ever since. And I love it. I mean, there's different ways you can get into safety. You can either go to school like I did, or you can come from the field and take some courses and all that. But I'm going to talk about that later. I'll do another video on the right path, or whatever correct path is going to be for you, because my path might not be the same path that you want to take, because it might be longer and you don't have the time, and the sacrifice. But yeah, man, I've been doing safety since 2007, 18, and man, it's the best thing I ever did. And I thank my mom for pushing me to going back to school, because if it wasn't for her, who knows, I'd probably still be doing hot shot. But I'm blessed to be doing this thing, man, and the money that I've made. I've taken 5 months off without work, because I made enough money that I saved up and all that, and I take care of myself while I'm out on the road, and the money is, man, it's incredible. A lot of times people think that if you're in safety you don't make as much money, but you do. It's a lot of money to be made out there, but you have to be able to get it. You have to be able to go sacrifice, and you have to be able to um, want it, and go out there and work a lot of hours and things like that. But yeah, man, that's the way I got into safety, and hopefully, if this motivates you, and you can reach out to me and I can tell you exactly how to do it. But there's a lot of money to be made in safety, man, and you guys can do that if you like. But anyways, thank you for listening. And I'm out. Peace.